Good morning everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is having a great day. Today we're going to be answering a few of your Q&A questions that you guys submitted a couple of videos back. So if you are one of those people that submitted a question, thank you very much, really appreciate it. And we will be addressing those a little bit later on today. But first, to start off the video, we're actually going to be doing a little bit of a vlog. We're heading out to a brewery at the moment. I mean, it's only 9:50 a.m, so we're not going to be having any beers. We think there's going to be quite a good amount of coffee there though, so that's always a plus. You know how much I love my coffee. And they've also got like a petting zoo or some sort of animal little farm thing going on, so might be quite scenic and very cute to go visit like a few little animals and whatnot. So we thought we'd go out and do that, and yeah, so we'll hope you enjoy the little vlog, and we'll get to those Q&A questions soon enough. So if you do want to skip ahead, it'll only hurt my feelings a little bit, so you're more than welcome to do that, and we'll see you soon, hey? Switching over to the GoPro now, hey? This looks kind of cool. It's a nice little property. Yeah. But yeah, over to the GoPro now, just so we can get some nice smooth shots while walking around. All right.
It's quite big.
Yeah, it's huge. Well, it's a brewery. They got to make beer, you know.
Yeah, it looks like
farm over there.
The animals and coffee, and beer, and everything.
Very cool. Oh, you know what we should have done? We should have put some sunscreen on. That's what we should have done.
How's the coffee?
Haven't tasted it yet. Give me a sec. It's hot. Good. It's good, but it's creamy. I like goats.
I like goats. I am very stupid.
Does he like it?
I think
No.
likes it more.
Doesn't like your inferior grass. He's hungry.
Hey mate, I don't think it's dry enough for it.
Meh. Meh. Hey buddy. Yeah, you want some grass? Come on. Would you like some grass? It's the good stuff. I don't think they eat grass. Jesus, this person didn't leave me much room. Oh, yeah. Well, that was cool. That was like a different, nice little experience. Something that we don't usually do, hey? Whoa. Alrighty boys, we are back from the brewery and the nice little petting zoo / coffee. It was pretty cool. Not something we usually do, but it was kind of nice to go have like a little drive out the countryside and just a bit of a change of scenery for once. But coming back home, I have just realized that we are only a few kilometers away from reaching the big 100,000 mark. And let me just pull it up on my dash here. Let's see if I can show you. As you can see, 99,973 Ks. So we are approaching 100,000 kilometers pretty fast, and the old girl, she's getting a few kilometers on her. So I'll definitely do a 100,000K update. So I'll definitely make a video about that. I think it'd be quite helpful for people who are wanting to buy a WRX in the future, like what they should expect, etc. So yeah. Alrighty. This is a nice little setup. Got my ring light, got a nice plant there, cute little plant there, enough light from either side. Time to do this Q&A. Alright, so the first question comes from OGTEV, and his question is, what is your occupation, and is doing YouTube on the side draining? Well, I'll tell you what, my occupation is a mechanical engineer. I've been an engineer for a year now, so under a bit of like a graduate program. So I'm with a local water and sewerage company that obviously needs engineers to keep the show running. And he asks, is doing YouTube on the side draining? It is when it's hard to kind of come up with ideas, which is where I kind of lack sometimes, because obviously I can't just keep buying things for my car because I got to pay rent, food, all that kind of stuff, you know, trying to save up for an actual house as well. So I can't just keep buying all these modifications for the car. And as much as I love to just keep doing installs for the car, it does get a little bit draining trying to come up with cool content ideas, which I am trying to work on. But yeah, sometimes it's a little bit draining, and kind of like the hardest part is actually starting to film, really. Editing takes a little bit, but it's not too bad. I usually have a fair bit of time during the night time, so I can edit the videos and whatnot. So it's only a little bit draining, but it kind of depends on your schedule. Alrighty guys, the second question is from Reese Sims. And he is asking, is your WRX the first car that you owned? No, it is not the first car that I owned. My very first car was a Daewoo Lacetti, 2004 model, I believe. And fun fact about that car, it was actually Top Gear's most reasonably priced car that they would take around the track with all the celebrities back in, I don't know, whatever, the old seasons. So it was a good little car. It got me from A to B, got me from uni, and to and from work, and I had no problems with it. Only cost me a couple of grand. It had minimal kilometers on it as well, and so it served me a really good purpose for trying to like save up for my WRX. In between that car and my WRX, I also had a 1989 Toyota Hilux, and it was an absolute beast, an SR5. It was red, everything was just solid, and it was a beautiful 2.8 litre diesel. Slow as all hell, but it had some charisma about it, and I miss that car to this day. It used to be my father's, and he kind of passed it on to me when he bought a new car, and then we ended up selling it for very cheap. So I do regret selling that car. And then obviously went to my WRX. All right, question number 3 is from Marcelo Cuadrado. I'm sorry if I got that wrong, my friend. He's asking a bit of a weird one. Motul Gear 75W90 versus Motul Gear 300 75W90. What is the best for a Subaru gearbox? Now, Marcelo, I am not an expert on oils, mate, but what I can give you is my honest opinion. If you stick to the weight of oil that is recommended for your Subaru, which I believe is 75W90. I recently changed my oil. I use Penrite, and I believe Penrite is an Australian brand, so I'm not sure if they sell that in the other countries. But I have honestly heard nothing bad about Motul. With gear oil, I think as long as you've got the right weight and it's a reputable brand, you're probably going to be okay, not gonna lie. As long as you don't get like a Walmart brand, or something like that, then you're probably going to be honestly going to be fine, man. But just read up on the differences between the 300 versus just the normal motor gear oil, because one might be like better useful for track, one might require more regular maintenance, that kind of thing, which you may not need. So just have a look at that and make your decision based on that. But hey, as long as you've got the right weight, Motul seems like a fairly popular brand, especially in the US. So honestly, mate, I'd go with either or, but just do a little bit of research on what the differences are. All right, question number 4. This one comes from Curtis Plamel. Again, sorry if I mispronounce your name. He asked me, what is your exhaust setup? From the top of the turbo, I've got a Catalyst Hyperflow downpipe with a custom mid pipe. So that was just made up by an exhaust shop. This is all 3-inch, by the way, so no cats, Hyperflow. And then I have, as a catback, I've got an Empire Performance catback, which is actually not a very well-known brand. It's more like a Chinese kind of basic brand, but it's still 3-inch all the way through, and it has like a large muffler at the end, but with no cats as well. So I get a nice note out of it. It's not too loud. It's quite nice, and it was quite cheap to do. A lot of people just go for like a full NVIDIA setup, and like that can be costing like $3.5 grand here. It's quite expensive. Whereas I did my full exhaust for about $1,500. And our final question is from Bundy and Tech. And he asked, have you ever considered using a Cobb access port? Now, I did consider using a Cobb access port right at the start of purchasing the WRX, because I thought I would get, get all these parts by Cobb, get the air intake, get the downpipe, etc. But it didn't really end up working out that way. And at the time, the Cobb access ports were only available for the US models, so we didn't have any JDM and Australian models. For that, they do now. It's been several years since they've come out, but I ended up just getting a Pro Tune anyways. When I mean Pro Tune on the dyno, having someone actually configure my ECU and get everything proper and right. And although the Cobb access ports seem to be quite safe, it's still an off-the-shelf tune, and you can't really tweak things that may need to be tweaked. So we live in a fairly hot climate here in Australia, so I know compared to a lot of colder places, the air-fuel ratios might have needed to be tweaked a little bit, all those kinds of little nitty-gritty things. So I definitely went with a dyno tune, and I'd probably still go with a dyno tune. I think it's 100% worth it for getting the most life out of your motor. Not that I'm saying there's anything wrong with a Cobb access port. I just think, you may as well spend that extra little bit of money if you're buying all these car parts for a proper dyno tune by someone that you trust. Make sure you go to someone that you trust and who's very reputable with these tunes. Don't go to someone you haven't heard of before. All right, guys, well, thank you so much for all your questions. I really appreciate you guys taking the time today to put these in the comments for me so I can answer them. I really enjoy doing these types of Q&A kind of video things, because I just like, chatting about cars and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, thanks for the questions, guys. Hopefully we can do another Q&A a little bit later on down the track. And I will see you next week for a brand new video. And I think it's going to be a pretty exciting one if I can tee it up. Fingers crossed. I think you guys are going to really love it, and I'm going to love it just as much. So thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.